Time for another update. And would y'all look at these tomatoes grow? I actually had to raise up the grow lights because they were starting to get a little burned from being too close to the lights. See a couple of the leaves back there. But these are all the tomatoes, and then way back in the back are, I don't think you can see them, are some ground cherries. Peppers are doing well. I'm going to have to find a way to raise this light up, and I've almost got it as far as it'll go, so we'll have to get some rigging, probably add another light to this row. There's the nasturtium. They're ready to go outside if the weather would just cooperate. Some of my leaves are getting yellow. There's some more. These were the extra tomatoes that I planted. And there's some chamomile and dill I've got started over here. Some more of the tomatillas, since the other one got too leggy. Some collards, some flowers back there. Basil and some more extra peppers that I had that needed potting up. And that's where we're at on the inside stuff today. I've got 2 more grow lights I can hang up, and I need to figure a way to get them higher on these shelves. I may have to raise the shelves up so that I can get the lights up higher. These are fixed. I can't adjust to these shelves, but I've got 2 more shelves I can utilize. They're just lower. We'll have to figure that out today. Hoping today the weather will be warm enough that we can get out and work on filling more of those beds. But these tomatoes are ready to go as soon as the weather cooperates, just a few more weeks. Strawberries are coming back to life. I made sure I got them watered today. There's the nasturtiums I potted up earlier. Looks like they're kind of starting to spring back up a little bit. Let me pick my potting mix bag up. This is what I used for the nasturtiums. Gathering up all my garbage. And then we've had, yeah, that's a chicken water over here by my Earthboxes. It was sitting over there by that other water. But we've had some horrendous storms come through here. And it's literally blew these all my little transplants out here all over the place. Lost a couple over here. These look okay. The chard looks okay. Cabbage and her cauliflower, those are looking okay. There's a little bit of damage there. The kale took a beating though. Look at those beating. I mean, we had 30 and 40 mile per hour winds for like 12 hours straight one day. It was rough. I didn't think any of them were going to survive. And then these are the extra peas I had that I just stuck in there. And I think the squirrels got them out of those other holes. We'll just see how they do. But yeah, that's a progress report of where I'm at. A little bit at a time every day, moving forward. It's got to be pretty good raised bed mix if there's worms already in it. This is what I'm using. That's what my option was. The big compost makers don't deliver to my area, and I don't have a truck, and I could not physically shovel up from a pile of compost anyway, so bag works for me because I can do 1 bag at a time. But it looks pretty good. It's kind of wet because, of course, it was all out in the rain, but hopefully it'll dry up this week. The sun is supposed to be out every day, so we'll see. All right, so here's a progress report. I've got most of the beds put up. I've got 2 more of these round ones coming. They're just not here yet. And then I've got 2 more of the little ones inside that I need to put together. But all of them that are up, I've got sticks and where I've emptied some of my 5-gallon buckets into them. These small beds, I put in 3 bags of the 1.5 cubic feet raised bed organic from Whitney. And it was awfully wet in those bags. So what I'm going to do is over the next couple of days let it dry out a little bit and come back and add some of my compost from the chicken coop, mix in some perlite and vermiculite, maybe a little bit of peat, and get that a little bit fluffier. That's why I didn't fill them all the way. But you can see, still have sticks in where I'm emptying those. I still got to fill these. I'm going to do these with Mel's mix. on all these big tall ones. And then I've got these two down here filled most of the way. And again, I'm going to come back with some perlite and vermiculite and compost from my chicken coop to put in here after they dry out and fluff it back up. No, I didn't see a lot of sticks. There were a few sticks. And then in two of them I found a little piece of plastic. It was like the plant tags, the plastic plant tags. And that's what they look like. But otherwise it looks pretty good, other than it's just so soaking wet. One of the bags I opened up almost smelled anaerobic. But it'll dry out, it'll be okay. And then still filling up these other ones. These were all the big limbs from that storm we had. And we're just throwing them down here, and then we'll cover them up with compost and Mel's mix and get them built up. And I've still got 3 piles of sticks I can come back if I need them, but I'm going to try to save those for the other 2 round beds I've got coming. But that's a progress report. In here, I had an old worm bin that I threw out because I left it out over the winter, it froze and cracked, but I dumped all the worm castings in here, and so I'm adding a handful or 2 of those to every bed too. But so that's some extra nutrition going in there as well. This is an Earthbox Jr, and I've got some nasturtiums that just desperately need to be up potted and go outside. So I'm gonna refresh this one. I grew lavender and something else in it last year, I can't remember. But the box just needed to be refreshed. It's been several years, so I'm going to refresh it and put some nasturtiums in it. And if you see the little holes down there, you want to make sure you pack your potting mix down in those little holes. That's where the weeping comes from the water. And then that corner right there, I'm not sure if you can see it, is where the water tube will go. So I poured just a little bit of potting mix in here, and I'm going to make sure I just pack it down in those little divots there, because that's where it's going to wick up the water from. Right, and then since I'm not growing vegetables in here, these are just flowers, I'm not going to put a cover on this one. The only thing I found that does well for growing in these little ones is herbs or flowers. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I got them all tucked in there, and I'm going to wet it down and fill up the reservoir with water, and let's just hope for the best.